There is speculation that tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, it is possible, maybe even likely, that the president will make a statement of some kind, and the rumor has it, and I've seen this on CNN and elsewhere, rumor has it the president is going to apologize. What will he apologize for? We don't know. What will he say? We don't know. How will he couch what he may or may not have done Minica Lewinsky? We don't know. We just don't know. But let me say this about the president and Minica Lewinsky. This whole matter is a good example of why nobody of caliber, nobody of quality wants to run for public office anymore. You see, to me, I want people in office who've made mistakes. I want people in office who've had a life. I want people in office who've learned something over the years. I don't want somebody like a Dr. Laura Schlesinger pretending to be perfect, and then later on you find out that they are not perfect and you are crestfallen. None of us is perfect. None of us is perfect. Now, is what the president is alleged to have done a smart thing to do? No. Why? Let's be realistic. There's somebody with a tape recorder at every turn. There is somebody saving a party dress at every turn with stains on it. There is somebody waiting with a book deal at every turn. There is People magazine. There is Hard Copy. There is the National Enquirer. Look, you'd have to be a fool to do something like that. But are you so much of a fool that you shouldn't be the president of the United States? No. This whole thing started with the Paula Jones case, a case that has been thrown out of court. There is no Paula Jones case. There is no Paula Jones case, folks. That case was thrown out. And the president was forced to testify in a deposition at the Paula Jones case, which now is not a case anymore. And he was asked questions that, frankly, were nobody's business. The Paula Jones case alleged that the president engaged in unwarranted, unwanted sexual attention. That is what it was alleged in that case. I have no problem with questioning the president about a pattern of unwanted behavior. I have no problem with that. What I have a problem with is when you start asking the president about something that is unrelated, which is consensual sexual contact with another person. The president should not have been asked these questions. He should not have been forced to answer these questions. He should not have been put under oath. And let me just say this. Everybody watching this program on television and everybody listening has lied about their sex lives. Everybody. You have. How have you lied? Well, let's go down the list of possibilities. You are a woman saying to a man, "I've never done this before." You are a man saying, "Oh no, I don't have chlamydia." You are a woman saying, "I've only slept with 3 men." You are a man saying, "Oh no, I'm not married." People lie about their sex lives all the damn time. And there is no reason in my mind why a president of the United States should have to tell the truth about his sex life. Or anybody else should have to tell it, for that matter. It's nobody's business. I don't know what goes on between the president and Mrs. Clinton. I have no idea. I have no idea what kind of arrangement they have. I can tell you that over the years, I've seen some pretty interesting arrangements in the marriage field. People who have open marriages. People who don't want to have sex anymore, saying, just be discreet. People who are married to each other because one is a lesbian or one is a gay man. And they're married for the purposes of their business, getting a promotion, getting elected to office. There's all kinds of arrangements. I don't know if there's an arrangement. I don't know if there's no arrangement, and this is a terrible, horrible, painful thing that's going on for the president and his family. I don't know. But it's none of my business. What do I care about as an American? I'll tell you what I care about. Unemployment's the lowest it's been in about over 25 years. Inflation is at 3% or less. Consumer confidence is at an all-time high. Until a couple of weeks ago, the stock market was at record highs, and people were making money hand over fist. Real estate prices are up. Crime, violent crime, is down in major cities in America. The reason people don't care about Minica Lewinsky, the reason people don't care about what the president did, the reason you see poll after poll after poll with the president having approval ratings of over 60% is simple. It's because we've got jobs, we've got money, our houses have gone up in value. We don't want to upset the apple cart. We don't want to do it. So we don't want some stupid private matter screwing up what is, for most of us, a very prosperous and happy time. We don't. I'll tell you what, if unemployment were over 7%, if inflation were 20% as it was in the late 70s, we'd care a lot more about whether Bill Clinton diddled Minica Lewinsky. Maybe there are some people out there who are having an affair right now. People who have experience in this area who could give Bill Clinton some tips for having an affair successfully.
What he needs to do is find someone in the same boat that he's in. He needs to find someone who's married and who needs to hold secrets just as bad.
I think that if he doesn't have an arrangement with his wife, and therefore it wouldn't be an affair, that he should get a divorce.
First of all, he's leading him on. He's making him, think that he wants to be with him, and he's just got to go out there and bang one night and just get it over with. The person that you fool around with is your wife's best friend.
Your wife's best friend?
You got it, then.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Who's she going to tell?
Can't tell her best friend.
Some people make the mistake as they go for somebody that's single and that doesn't have anything to lose, that has a lot to gain by telling on the affair.
What advice do you have for the president now?
The first thing he has to do is never do somebody in your own backyard. This girl was an intern at the White House. I'm sure he probably puts on more mileage on Air Force One than anybody in the world. Some people may say you could be your wife's best friend. I say make it be a complete and total stranger.
24 minutes after the hour from Los Angeles, it's the Tom Leykis Show. Thank you for tuning in. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Joining us in our studio here in Los Angeles, comedian Andy Kindler. Boy, this has got to be Fat City for comedians. It's just amazing.
Usually, although actually comedians can go two directions. There are some comedians who, when Viagra comes out, they have a big party. And then the other comedians say, no, I can't go anywhere. It could be too hacky. So certain areas you have to stay away from.
Yeah.
You don't want to get too hacky, do you?
No, you don't want to get hacky at all, for that matter. Now, would you be surprised if Clinton lied about this? Would you be surprised?
Well, I think I'm always surprised when people tell the truth. That's when I'm surprised. Everyone's so shocked when people lie. I lie probably 90% of the time. I lie.
You lie all the time.
All the time. I get in the club and go, good evening, it's nice to be here, completely lying.
Uh-huh.
So, to me, when people tell the truth, that's the shocking part.
I love Dayton, my favorite city. You've said that. Come on.
Yeah, well, I always make fun of the city you were just in.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
pop up the city that you're currently in.
That's exactly right.
But to me, the story that's the larger story, I mean, I don't know. I mean, my mom does believe that he's innocent, is the only person that I've found so far who believes he had no affair, is my mom. She believes it. And she believes it.
He had no affair? No.
That's what my mom says.
She is the only person.
She really is. Of course, she has put herself in a room and she's cut herself off from the media completely. And my father, she won't listen to anybody.
Really?
And she's been in a room for about 6 months. But the larger story, I think, though, is the people trying to get him. I think this is a horrible thing. That these people are trying to get him. I watch TV, and there's this guy like Jonathan Turley. Have you seen this? The guy from George? He's supposed to be a professor at George Washington University. When does he teach? He is on the air 20 hours a day. Is it because he's out for summer session? Is that the problem?
Well, the worst part is that MSNBC. Is there a bigger time-filling network than that or not?
Yes, there's Fox News Channel. Fox News Channel is like it must be on some kind of lottery basis of who hosts the shows over there. It must be a punishment if you don't do well on MSNBC. They send you to Fox News Channel.
What do you think happened between Clinton and Lewinsky? Do you have any idea?
I don't know. I mean, I tend to think that something probably happened. Although, the thing is, you never really do know, because, like, I was shocked when the Kathleen Willey went on 60 Minutes. And I was just shocked because everybody was walking around the next day saying that, she sounded credible. It's like, how do we know? You don't know Kathleen Willey. We don't know Clinton. So how do we really know?
Bill Clinton sounded credible 6 years ago.
Exactly. I think Bill Clinton is as credible as any president we've had in our lifetime, and probably more intelligent. I mean, can you think of any president since probably ever that's been that truthful? I'd like them. That's the thing that gets me too. Is people say, well, he should be held to a higher level. That's ludicrous. He's not going to be held to a higher level. And I don't know, maybe there is some kind of a spiritual leader that we could elect, but not yet.
We're talking with Andy Kindler. Now, wouldn't you think, you're the president. It's like you're Mick Jagger. You're a rock star. Wouldn't you think you'd be getting better tail than like Jennifer Flowers and Paula Jones and Monica Lewinsky?
I'm very attracted to Monica Lewinsky.
Really? I had no idea.
I want to go on record right now as saying that, and Jennifer Flowers, too, I was very, very attracted to.
You like her?
And the thing that people say is they go, well, I can't believe that the president would be coming on to people. Well, I think the best time to come on to someone is when you're president, because I don't think you see Carter picking up a lot of chicks over at Habitats for Humanity. Come on, people. This is all that was straight from my act, which is available on CD immediately after the broadcast.
Do you watch a lot of this stuff? I mean...
I watch it all the time. I am obsessed because I am a liberal, and I'm not afraid to say I'm liberal. I don't stutter when I say the word. I sweat, but that has nothing to do with me being liberal. And I watch it all the time. I'm just CNBC, MSNBC. But the conservative, the people who are from the right just drive me nuts. And they have a new thing now. They smile to show they're not evil. That's their new thing. They smile. They say something really, really horrible, and then they give you one of these to say, "We are just like you. We are, even though we want to crush you, we are just like you."
Now, of course, the president tonight may very well make some kind of a statement, an apology, an explanation. Have you had any thoughts about that at all?
I don't know. I mean, I really believe that he... you see, the thing about Clinton that gets me kind of crazy is that the things that he's kind of accused of, if he had just said... like on the draft thing. I mean, I would have done anything to get out of the draft. I would have dressed as a woman. I would have changed my sex. I would have eaten hot chili peppers, whatever it took me to get out. So I think a lot of America would say, yeah, get out of the war. But he has this thing where he wants to appeal to some image that he thinks middle America wants him to be. So I think he gets himself in trouble because I think that he could have said a long time ago, this is nobody's business, and that's it. I don't know how he's going to square tonight if he does say he had an affair with... they're going to just constantly keep showing him saying that he didn't have an affair a few months ago. So,
how long before the Monica Lewinsky spread in Playboy, would you say?
I don't think she'll go that route because she has a good management behind her. She's got PR, and they're going a different route. It's going to be
already had Jennifer Flowers and Paula Jones.
Yeah. I'm in the Jennifer Flowers, Monica Lewinsky camp. If we're going for who's the most attractive of all of the president's paramours, is that the right word?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Exactly. Comedian Andy Kindler. Our number is 1-800-5800-TOM. Don't go anywhere.
The Tom Leykis Show. 25 minutes before the hour.
The Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. The president is now done testifying before the grand jury. And we are looking to see what is going to happen next. You'll hear it here. And in the meantime, we'll be taking some of your calls coming up here, toll-free at 1-800-5800-TOM. If you are listening on the radio, you can also see the show on C-SPAN. It's running right now, unless your local radio station doesn't run our show live, in which case it already happened, and then it's a moot point. All right? Jeez. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Joining us on the line, Richard Blow. He's the senior editor of... Did we lose Richard Blow? I guess we did. All right, he... why do we not see him on line 7 there? Is he on line 7? Nobody knows.
I'm right here.
Oh, okay. My light doesn't work here. I guess the light on line 7 didn't work. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
All right. The president is done testifying. This is unprecedented, but why are we having this conversation? Why is the president in a position of having to answer personal questions about his private life?
Well, there's a simple answer to that and a complicated one. The simple one appears to me that he had an affair with a 23-year-old intern. The complicated one, I think, is because he happened to have the affair in a time when he's got an independent counsel investigating him for a whole bunch of other things, and that independent counsel has the authority to investigate him for pretty much anything he wants.
Now, I saw Elizabeth Holtzman on CNN today, and she was one of the authors of the law that was drafted to create the independent counsel. And she says that they had nothing like this in mind when they wrote that law. Nothing. And what I want to know is, why can't the independent counsel stick to issues that are relevant to what he is supposedly investigating?
Well, I'm no Ken Starr apologist, and I don't know what he's got up his sleeve, if anything, or if he's just obsessed with the president's sex life. But his defense is that he thinks he saw in this Minica Lewinsky stuff a pattern of behavior on the president's part and the White House's part that constituted a potential obstruction of justice. And we don't know if that's true or not, because we don't know what cards he's got. There are just as many people who say, look, Ken Starr is just obsessed with the president.
So let me understand this. Ken Starr investigates Whitewater, spends $50 million, finds nothing, weaves his way around everything from Vince Foster to Travelgate to this to that, finally works his way up to Minica Lewinsky and gets these tapes of Linda Tripp and what have you. And finally now he is asking questions and boxing the president in on something that is none of our business in the first place.
Well, look,
then he lies about it, or probably lies about it, and then we're all supposed to be outraged that the president lied about something we had no business knowing about in the first place.
Well, first of all, look, no one ever said that independent counsels were cost efficient. I mean, there are lots of criminal investigations that you think are may or may not be worthwhile, but if you had to do a cost-benefit analysis, they wouldn't sound so good. And secondly, look, if Ken Starr hadn't brought this thing out, it might well have come out anyway. I mean, look, the president has had a number of women come out in the past. At this point, he ought to know that if you if you're fooling around a little on the side, you have to worry about that becoming public. I mean, look, it's happened to him several times.
I have no problem with what you're saying as far as the National Enquirer or Hard Copy or Current Affair, if it still existed. I have no problem with that. What I have a problem with is you get the president into a position where he's expected to answer questions under oath about his sex life. Who of us could pass a lie detector test on our sex lives? Who of us, even under oath, would tell the complete truth about our sex lives?
Well, look, let's not forget that Ken Starr was not the person who originally asked the president under oath about his sex life. That came in the Paula Jones case.
A case which has since been thrown out.
Point taken. But the president still lied. And, lying in a civil trial is probably not cause for impeachment, but on the other hand, it's not something we like in a president.
But what is the purpose of all of this? I mean, is this what's going to happen to every president now? The jackals are going to go through the trash cans of anybody who runs for office, and what you're going to end up with are a bunch of bland, boring pieces of white bread running for office? I mean, who the hell would want to run for office? That job doesn't pay enough to put up with this.
Yeah, but first of all, look, come on, how many presidents are really going to be in this situation?
Well, let's look back. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Dwight D. Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy. Come on.
Yeah, but none of them...
They were smart enough to screw around and not get caught? Is that what you're saying?
No, but I'm saying, look, even though all this stuff has come out, and President Clinton, unfortunately for him, happens to be president at a time when people do talk and report about these things. But even with all the details that have come out, the American public has still said, so what? Do your job, tell us the truth, and let's get on with it. That's pretty forgiving.
It is, but then the point comes up, and this is what the average American wants to know. Why are we spending all this money and time on this? Even after all of this, there'll be no impeachment of Bill Clinton. What have we done? We spent all this money for what? So a partisan political person, Kenneth Starr, can embarrass the president, can weaken the president, can turn him into a lamer duck than he already is?
Well,
I mean, what is the purpose of all of this?
Tom, let's take the question of money aside, and let's say this investigation cost $1,000. Do you think that it is a matter of public relevance that Clinton had an affair with an intern at the White House?
No.
See, I think that this is going to come out in this day and age, and that since it does come out, we have a right to expect the president to behave a little bit better, to behave like a moral leader.
Oh, please. Oh, please. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, all around the world, politicians have had mistresses. In fact, in Europe, they're laughing at us for this.
Well,
this is ridiculous. I mean, what we want the president to do is keep inflation low, keep unemployment low, send the stock market through the roof, keep consumer confidence high. The reason people don't care about this case is because everybody's got a job, everybody's got spending money, the value of their homes is skyrocketing. We don't want to upset the apple cart. That's what we want the president to do.
Exactly right. And I'll tell you that there's something that I think is kind of upsetting about that.
Why?
The president you just described is not the president. He's the chairman of the Federal Reserve. He's the Secretary of the Treasury.
He's done a good job, too.
Is someone that we've always expected a little bit more of, rightly or wrongly.
Look, I'll tell you what. If you come back to me, you come back to me and tell me the president is over there at the Federal Reserve printing up a few $100 bills for himself, and I'll be fascinated, and I will definitely want that investigated. The president's done a damn good job with reappointing Alan Greenspan, keeping inflation low. He's done a great job with the economy. The economy's better than it's been in a quarter century in this country. We've got a budget surplus in this country. I don't care who the president is bedding down. I just don't care.
Well, Tom, let me ask you. I mean, there's no question that the president has done a fine job of managing the economy, but don't you think that there used to be a time when the American people put a little more hope in the president?
Well, you know why? You know why? Because the press that knew that Franklin Delano Roosevelt was screwing around didn't say anything about it. The press that saw Judith Exner going in the back door of the White House and banging JFK, they didn't tell the public about it. I have to take a break here. Richard Blow, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
That is the senior editor of George Magazine, Richard Blow, and we will continue. Your telephone calls coming up. All right, you just heard it. David Kendall has announced that the president will give his speech to the nation tonight at 7 o'clock Pacific time. That's 10 p.m. Eastern time. I guess they want to keep that as late as possible so the kids will be in bed. Nah. All right, your call's coming up. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. 14 minutes before the hour. My name is Tom Leykis.
Maybe after, I don't know, a case.
No, baby. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. All right, here is the statement from presidential attorney David Kendall.
This afternoon, the president voluntarily testified for more than 4 hours about his relationship with Ms. Lewinsky and the questions he was asked about that relationship in the Jones deposition last January. He testified truthfully. We're hopeful that the president's testimony will finally bring closure to the independent counsel's more than 4-year and over $40 million investigation, which has culminated in an investigation of the president's private life. The president would like me to reserve his opportunity to discuss his testimony himself, and he will do so in an address tonight at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Thank you.
All right, there it is. That's Attorney David Kendall giving us the wrap-up on the day's events. The president testifying for 4 hours by closed-circuit television in front of a grand jury that was a few blocks away from where he was testifying, which was at the map room of the White House. I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll get to your calls coming up here. Let's go to comedian Darrell Hammond, who joins us. Of course, you know Darrell Hammond from Saturday Night Live and all over the country is one of the brilliant stand-up comedians, one of the brilliant impressionists, and the man who appears on television as Bill Clinton on Saturday Night Live. Hey, Darrell, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. Now, do you have to watch all this stuff? What's the deal?
I don't have to, but I mean, I don't think I've ever seen drama this good.
It's good, isn't it?
It is really good. I mean, although, you know, in a way, you know, it was a foregone conclusion that he had an inappropriate relationship. But, I mean, for 4 years and $40 million, it's a pretty good story, I think.
Now, what do you think the president's little I guess it's only going to be a couple of minutes tonight. What do you think the little address is going to be like you're going to give tonight?
I think that it will be the most sobering, sober, very unornamental. I think they're going to coach him not to bite his lip, do his thumb, you know, do all the stuff that he does to light up his little speeches, and I think he'll probably just apologize, and then we'll... But I can't imagine where... I don't know. I can't imagine where this is going to go from here. What do you think?
I think what will happen, based on everything I'm hearing, is that there won't be an impeachment. The president won't be thrown in intern jail or anything like that. He'll just be a really, really, really lame duck the next couple of years.
Yeah, and it's funny, you know, people like Orrin Hatch and Pat Buchanan have been saying he'll be, in as much as confined to the White House. You know, he's allowed to be the president. He's allowed to sit in the Oval Office, you know, but he won't be participating anymore in the presidency. And that may be true.
Now, of course, here you are about to embark on another season of Saturday Night Live. This has got to be juicy.
Oh, it is. It is. You kind of wonder. You really kind of wonder, though, if it's. I don't know, something, you know, it feels like maybe something terrible happened there today, and I'm just not sure. I mean, if it's simply going to be an apology and a slap on the wrist and blah, 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 then it'll be, of course, wonderful. But, I mean, I'm hoping there's no obstruction of justice, and what I'm really hoping is that Kenneth Starr doesn't pursue this any further, because it's getting a bit agonizing. I mean, here is this guy pursuing the president on moral grounds, and his approval rating is nothing. You know, I mean, he's got like a 50, what does he have, like a 54% approve of what he's doing?
It's actually more than that. It's over 60% in most of the surveys I've seen.
Disapproving of
what? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Clinton. You're talking about Kenneth Starr. Yeah. Oh, no, it is probably about 55%, the disapproval rating on Kenneth Starr, who's never had a high approval rating.
Never had a high approval rating, never been able to make the big leagues, couldn't make the Supreme Court, but gosh, he's in charge for us all, even though he and Linda Tripp and Goldman, that lady from New York, seem to have set the president up in that trial. I'm not exonerating the president, but he's pretty dirty himself.
You're a big president.
Well, I'm fascinated by the president in the same sense that I'm fascinated by, you know, sharks. I mean, I don't call him a shark, but I mean, I don't know him that well. He does seem to have done a good job in office, and that's sort of reflected in his approval rating. But I can't wait to see approval ratings tomorrow.
Boy, I can't wait to see them either. Comedian Daryl Hammond on Saturday Night Live.
Coast to coast, the Tom Leykis Show.
Hey, drop by our website. It's blowmeuptom.com. Our chat room is rocking in there right now. Just go to our homepage at www.blowmeuptom.com. Hey, C-SPAN too right now.
You're listening to the Tom Leykis Show.
Write me, the Tom Leykis Show, Post Office Box 4455. That's Box 4455, Hollywood, California, 90078. Fax us, 310-854-4455. That's 310-854-4455. Or send us email. The address is tom@blowmeuptom.com. From Los Angeles, we are the Tom Leykis Show.
Should they ask for his resignation?
Well, I think that if all that were proven true, I think that would be a very serious offense. That is not going to be proven true.
From Los Angeles, it's the Tom Leykis Show.
Oh, God.
And now, here he is, Tom Leykis.
7 minutes after the hour. Thank you for tuning into the Tom Leykis Show. This is where America gets together to talk about the issues you really care about. It's a different kind of a radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing wacko or a convicted felon. No! I am your host. Write down our toll-free telephone number. You're going to need it. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. The Tom Leykis Show, brought to you in part by Earthlink Network. It's your internet. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being a part of our program. The president spent 4 hours, plus breaks and what have you, testifying from the map room of the White House in front of a grand jury that was watching him on closed-circuit TV several blocks away. And now, tonight at 7 o'clock Pacific time, right at the end of our program, if you're hearing it live, 10 o'clock Eastern time, the president is going to address the nation. What's he going to say? Well, I said I didn't do it, and I didn't do it, but some people think I did it. And so, if you think I did it, I'm sorry you thought I did it. I don't remember that. I don't remember thinking I thought I did it, but thank you. Essentially is what it's going to be. It's going to be nonsense. It's going to be nothing, okay? That's the deal. What are we going to get out of all of this? What are we going to know tonight? You know what? We're going to know nothing. We're going to know nothing because we're not going to know where the Kenneth Starr investigation is going. We're not going to know about suborning perjury. We're not going to know anything, for God's sake. We're just going to know what kind of perverse spin this is all going to take next. Let's go to your telephone calls here, toll-free. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. Jamie, first-time caller to the Tom Leykis Show from Seattle. Jamie, hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
I just wanted to give a new twist on this.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Let's say that Bill Clinton is a major CEO of a company.
Yes.
Okay? And now if you read in the Wall Street Journal over the last few months, they've been writing about how they don't want people to interact or date each other. They're having codes written and bylaws.
Some companies do that.
Oh, many companies do.
No, some do.
Okay.
I mean, I'll give you an example. The company I work for doesn't.
Doesn't. Okay.
Does not.
Okay. Well, they are trying to do this for morale purposes. And
some companies do it and some don't.
Okay. Okay. Well, just let me finish here. So let's say, now how do you think the morale is? How do you think that the White House feels while all this is going on?
Well, how they feel is interesting, but really not important. What is important is whether the president has done the job. I don't care about the personal lives of politicians.
Well, I don't either. But I do care when my money is going to fund his salary.
Why?
And that if he is not abiding by...
Abiding by what?
But what I would think would be what a normal person would do.
But the fact is, there are a lot of people who do what Bill Clinton is alleged to have done. A lot of them. And a lot of them have very responsible jobs, may I add. Mm-hmm. And may I say that he's certainly not the first president who's accused of doing this. I mean, my God, read the stories about John F. Kennedy and Judith Exner and Marilyn Monroe, Dwight D. Eisenhower, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. It goes on and on and on. This is not our first time. And in Europe, it's pretty much status quo that many world leaders from Europe have had affairs or have mistresses on the side. It's pretty much accepted.
Right.
So I don't see what the big deal is.
Well, how smart do you think an individual would be if he's already been...
I only want him to... Here's how smart I want my president to be. Smart enough to keep the unemployment rate down. Smart enough to keep the inflation rate low. Smart enough to keep consumer confidence high. Smart enough to get the violent crime off the streets in big cities. That's how smart I want him to be.
Okay.
And whether he can keep it in his pants or not my problem. Now, I'll tell you what, if he steals my money, if he makes a stupid move with Saddam Hussein or something like that, then I'm interested.
Right.
But I don't care what he's doing with his sex life.
No, but the way I just look at it is that if somebody's been warned once, with Paula Jones, to me that was a warning. Jennifer, all these other people, that was a warning. Why would you continue doing something?
Again, I don't think it's relevant. And I don't think the president should have to be in a position to have to answer questions about this kind of thing, any more than you would. Do you tell the truth about your sex life?
Yeah.
To everybody?
Yeah.
Anybody who asks?
I would.
Really?
It's not real glamorous, so I'm not going to...
It's not?
I'm not going to lie.
Really? How many partners have you had?
A few.
How many?
Well, about 9.
You're under oath.
About 9.
9?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which one was the best?
Oh, the one I have now.
The one you have now? Mm-hmm. Oh, come on. You're lying right now.
No, I'm not.
Come on. You have to say that.
No, because
the one you have now is never the best one. There was always somebody in the past who was better. Then you lie to the one you're with now and say, oh, honey, you're the best. You have to.
No, you learn as you go along.
So
you get better as you go along.
But you're not there yet.
Oh, yeah.
So you've never had anybody better than the guy you're with now?
No, I don't.
He's watching, isn't he? He's listening
Probably not. He's at work.
Okay, I'm just checking.
But anyway.
Favorite position?
Excuse me?
Favorite position?
Oh, my.
Come on, you're under oath.
There.
You're under oath. Oh, you're not going to go there. Who do you think you are, the president? You're under oath, for God's sake. See, you wouldn't tell. People shouldn't have to answer questions like that. I don't care if they're the president or who they are.
No, but if because of this we find out that he has sexual misconduct with women he works with, then I don't care if we had to ask.
But again, it's not, what you say is misconduct, okay?
Yeah.
There's a difference between sexual harassment and what the president is alleged to have done. Because it cannot be, by law, cannot be sexual harassment unless it is unwanted attention.
Right.
Unwanted.
Correct.
This woman was out buying gifts for him and talking to her friends and wearing dresses.
But do you think that this one has more meaning, regardless of if you even think we should ask the question or not, because this is someone he works with rather than some beauty queen?
Do I think that it has some specific meaning because somebody he works with? No, because again, it is not unwanted attention. I'll tell you what, if she was sexually harassed, that would be a violation of federal law, and I would be concerned about that.
Right.
This was wanted attention.
True.
It almost seems like solicited attention.
Well, probably.
I don't think the president waltzed in to all the interns and said, "You, over here."
Yeah.
I think that she came after him.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure she probably did.
Then it isn't sexual harassment, and therefore it's not illegal.
No, but if it is there, maybe because of this they will find that it could be there. Then I think that it was warranted.
If they found that, great. But nobody anywhere along the line has suggested this was unwanted attention.
Well, not from her, no. Not from Monica.
She is the person we're talking about.
Well, today.
Well, the point is, though, you can only investigate what you have. You can't investigate what you don't have.
True.
Right now, we're talking about Minica Lewinsky.
True.
As far as we know, Minica Lewinsky loved the attention. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. Look at those shots of her on TV, those 2 pieces of video they always show of her hugging Clinton. Oh, yeah, she looks like she's getting all this unwanted attention.
Right.
Please.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks a lot, Jamie.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. Let's say hi here to Karen, first-time caller to the Tom Leykis Show from Salem, Oregon. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Karen.
Hi. You know, I really like your show, but I think you're missing the point here today.
What's that?
You know, you're all uptight about federal law and sexual harassment would be a different story, but Ken Starr is investigating possible perjury, obstruction of justice.
But first of all, the president should never have been put in a position where he had to answer questions about his sex life.
Well, maybe
I mean, those questions never should have been answered, and all of it, in my opinion, should be stricken from the record anyway.
But he did lie under oath. That is his.
No. Well, we don't know whether he lied under oath or not. That's the speculation.
Okay. But that's what Ken Starr is trying to figure out.
Well, the point is, he was cornered into a box into answering questions he shouldn't have had to answer anyway. Whether he had sex with Minica Lewinsky or not had nothing to do with whether he might or might not have sexually harassed Paula Jones.
Agreed.
I mean, who you had sex with has nothing to do with whether you broke the law.
But when you know you're under oath, you will have to tell the truth.
But you shouldn't have to answer. There are certain questions you shouldn't have to answer.
Well, then you're going to have to ban all sexual harassment cases from
No. For example, no, because here's the thing. If you want to ask the president about situations where it's alleged that he may have sexually harassed someone or provided them with unwanted attention in that area, that's okay. But not to ask him about consensual sexual relations. I mean, do you think that the attorneys in the Paula Jones case had the right to ask him about his sex life with Hillary?
There isn't one.
Well, I'm asking you. Do you think they had a right to ask those questions?
I don't know what the law...
No, but I'm asking you what you think.
About his sexual life.
Right.
Not with his wife.
Why not?
Well, there's nothing illegal unless there was an assault.
There's nothing illegal about what is alleged to have happened with Minica Lewinsky. Nothing. Nothing.
If he didn't try to get her to lie, and if he didn't try to...
We'll talk about that in a minute. First of all, we're talking about whether or not they had sex, okay?
No, because...
There is nothing illegal about the two of them having sex.
Investigating the whole thing.
But there is nothing illegal about the two of them having sex.
No, there's not.
Right?
And I think that if that was all he was investigating, he'd have dropped it, because that's not an illegal
But it never should have come up in the first place.
Well, but once that
because the point is, if they were not in a position to ask questions that were none of their business in the first place, the president wouldn't have been put in a position to have to lie about.
It doesn't give him the right to lie, though.
But that's not the point. The point is the questions never should have been asked. This special prosecutor is out of control. These questions should never have been asked in the first place.
Okay.
And by the way, anybody who is put up against the wall and asked questions about their sex life is going to lie. Anybody.
Well, that's
You've lied about your sex life. How many times? Come on. Yeah, any woman I know has lied about her sex life. I've never done this before.
Oh, I'm so
You're the first. Oh, please. Men and women lie about their sex lives all the time. Men want to be thought of as studs. Women don't want to be thought of as sluts. People lie. They lie. They lie. I do not see how it can ever be relevant what kind of consensual sexual relationships people are having.
I don't think it's relevant either.
You shouldn't have to tell people to lie about a consensual relationship because it should never be the subject of questioning under oath.
Good. But what if he did perjure her? Or tell her to perjure and tell her to lie and hide all these things?
Well, you know what? At this point in time, first of all, I would have a problem with that, frankly, but I also have a problem with the president being put in a position where he has to answer honest questions about that.
Why should he be above the rest of us answering honest questions?
Now, when's the last time somebody asked you about your sex life?
Honey? Oh.
All right, you're under oath. How many partners have you had?
Well, I'm a virgin.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
lie number one.
Well, because I got...
I'm calling Kenneth Starr right now, for God's sake. It's 1-800-5800-TOM.
You're listening to the Tom Leykis Show. 24 minutes.
Tell me what you would name the presidential member.
Captain Hook, because it kind of hooks off there. Hey, if he uses lubricants at all, I would have to go slick one on. Hail to the beef.
Hail to the beef.
The Billy Club. Free Willy. Chief of the staff. In honor of the dog, I think it should be named Buddy.
Why is that?
Well, you know how Buddy is always chasing socks around the White House pussy?
Stanley, the power tool.
The Secret Servicer. How about Gallup poll? How about the Titanic? Because 1,500 people went down on it. The pocket veto or the executive branch? I was thinking of maybe Air Force 6 or 9 or 2 or whatever. The pocket veto or the executive branch?
I like the presidential caucus.
Oh, yeah, 24 minutes after the hour, the Tom Leykis Show. From Mike Dooley, who produces all that great stuff for us.
All segments of previous programs, the Tom Leykis Show from Los Angeles at 1-800-5800-TOM. Joining us in studio, comedian Bobby Slayton.
Of course. How are you? And, I forgot we could be on C-SPAN. You look at you. You're all dolled up in your Hollywood clothes. You got your jacket on. You got your sunglasses.
That's right.
Going showbiz on me like us. Well, I could do it, too. You know what's amazing? I know I don't have much time, so I want to get to the bottom of this because I've been listening to your show for the last couple hours. You know, why people... I'm on your side with this 100%, my friend. Why people are making such a big deal about the Clinton thing with Minica Lewinsky, and you're the one that said that people, foreign leaders all over the world are laughing at us because they all have mistresses. They all have these things which take their minds off all the problems that they have. And not only, if you look back in the history of this country, I just finished this movie called The Rat Pack, if I may get a plug in really quickly.
Saturday night, HBO.
Of course, I'll be at the Comedy Magic Club in Hermosa Beach for those people that live in California. My new CD's Raging Bully, but more importantly, I'm here to talk about President Clinton.
Yes.
Enough with the plugs. What's important here is in the movie, we basically, talk about the fact that President Kennedy, as great of a man as he was a major chaser of women. I mean, the guy did it. People talk about what a legend he was and what a great man he was, but he also helped escalate the Cuban Missile Crisis. The war in Vietnam was starting. He didn't do a lot to stop that. He basically wanted to have sex with women. He nailed Marilyn Monroe. Just for that, I give him a lot of credit. If I hold anything against Clinton, is the fact that he cheated on his wife with such ugly women. I mean, forget Monica Lewinsky. I mean, number one, she's Jewish, so, nothing happened. As far as oral sex goes, as far as they're taking the dress to the cleaners, that's what Jewish women do. They take everybody to the cleaners. That's number one. Number two, as far as him having sex with Paula Jones, that ant-eating hedgehog, I'm just disappointed in the man that if he did cheat on his wife, and he did jeopardize the presidency, and if he did screw up his marriage, at least do it with something Marilyn Monroe, Sharon Stone, Pamela Anderson style. The man's let me down in that regard. Now, as far as him lying to the American public, I don't know if you covered this. I might have been going to the bathroom, might have been out of my car, but so what if he lied? Presidents, do you call it a lie, or do you call sometimes... What do you say? It's people hearing what they want to hear. It's like you're telling your kid there's a Santa Claus, there's a tooth fairy, there's an Easter bunny. It's sort of letting your kid use their imagination and telling your kid what they need to grow up. And it's the same thing with women. It's the same thing with the American public. You got to lie to your wife. You can't tell women the truth. I think I've said this on your show before. That women want the truth, but in reality, they can't handle the truth. My wife... we'll go to Vegas for the premiere of the movie on Thursday. My wife actually said to me, honey, we can get married again. Because in Vegas is like $50 to renew your wedding vows, which to me is like reheating crappy food. But you can't say that to a woman. A woman says something to you, you got to lie to them. Honey, we used to have mystery in our relationship. All right, you want mystery? How about if I have sex with other women and you try to guess who they are? You start to say that to a broad and you're just going to get yourself in trouble. But look at Kennedy. I mean, you seem to know pretty much a lot about the history of this country.
Sure.
Eisenhower was known to have a mistress. FDR, his wife was a lesbian. In a wheelchair, he cheated on his wife. So every great man in history has always cheated on his wife. Martin Luther King had 3 girlfriends before he died, which is why he gave that speech. Free at last. He had 3 girlfriends. So, every great man has cheated a little. And, you know, who was it that said, I don't think this is an original thought, but somebody said what we need in this country is a good war to take our mind off the problems. Because Eisenhower had the Korean War, and FDR had, you know, a lot of problems. There's Korea, and there's all this stuff that's going on. And I think that if there was a real war now, it's like with Bush. Nobody thought about what a horrible man Bush was until we had the problem in Iraq, you know, and then everybody was realizing that the country's got to band together, and something like a man cheating on his wife is no big deal. And you and I both respect the president, because neither you and I have the nerve, because we are so whipped, to cheat on our wives. So in a way, you are very jealous of the president, are you not, my friend?
Hey, look at the tail you can get if you're the president, for God's sake.
Yeah, and the fact, that's absolutely right. Bush wasn't a good president. Reagan wasn't. Nixon wasn't. Ford wasn't. Carter wasn't. None of those guys were. They had ugly wives. They didn't cheat on their wives. A lot of problems. Kennedy cheated. Eisenhower cheated. FDR cheated. Great presidents.
You got to wonder what the incentive is to take a job like this, to have all this scrutiny. It certainly doesn't pay as well as some other jobs you could have. I think there is some link between testosterone and power. I really do.
Absolutely. Well, there's a link between testosterone and just any guy. I mean, guys walk around thinking about... I don't care if you're the president or if you're a garbage man. Guys walk around thinking about sex. They think about it all the time. My wife doesn't understand. There's an article in the New Gallery magazine, which is a fine men's publication.
Yes, it is.
Fine publication. And yes, there are naked women in there. My wife says, well, what if your daughter saw this? I said, well, I didn't even want you to see it. She happened to open my luggage and find it. And my wife says to me, now, does stuff like this turn you on? And I said, yes, it does. And she says, so when I wear sexy lingerie, it doesn't turn you on. And, you know, it's like putting a new paint job on a Pinto, but I'm not going to tell her that. Basically, what it is to me, it's all available on my CD, Raging Bully. But well, anyway, I know we got to go. But the point is, I don't know, what are we talking about? We have your producer go wrap it up.
Wrapping it up.
Wait a minute, Andy Kindler, how much time did he get? I love Andy, but he's not as funny as I am. He got more time than I got. Oh, just because we're on C-SPAN now we're on television, we got to wrap it up. All right,
That's Bobby Slayton. Look for him in The Rat Pack on HBO this Saturday night. The Tom Leykis Show. What would be the appropriate product for Minica Lewinsky to endorse?
The Minica Lewinsky flavored condom.
He just needs some mouthwash.
How about knee pads? I mean, this woman is a natural.
Monica Lewinsky's protein drink mix.
The Monica Lewinsky lobster bib.
Hey, she's got to have facial cream.
How about Monica Harmonica? You could kneel down and either suck or blow a hail to the cheek.
How about Monica Lewinsky vacuum cleaners? They really suck. Blow pop.
Monica Lewinsky trailer hitch with no chrome.
Remember the car that you go? It sucks on the hill.
Oh, yeah, baby. 25 minutes before the hour from Los Angeles. It's the Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. You can watch us on C-SPAN for the next half hour. You just tune to C-SPAN on your cable TV, and there you'll see us at the same time, for God's sake. The president will be giving his little mea culpa tonight at 7 o'clock Pacific time, 10 o'clock Eastern. What will he say? Who knows? But we'll all be watching, won't we? Oh, yes, we will. Let's continue with your telephone calls at 1-800-5800-TOM. Michelle is a first-time caller to the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Michelle.
I got to tell you, I am really disgusted with the nonchalant, who cares, and amused attitudes of so many people in this country. This man is the commander-in-chief of all the military personnel in this country.
Mm-hmm.
They're accountable to him.
So that means he shouldn't have sex?
No. You're missing my point. They're required to carry out his orders, and they're also required to uphold the military code of conduct. I mean, he is their leader.
The president is not required to adhere to the military code of conduct. That is a precedent that's been long established, so that's not even relative. It's not relevant.
He is their leader.
So, and so if he has sex, somehow he cannot lead what?
Well, the issue is, though, in the past few years, there have been at least three that I can think of military officers who were under a great deal of media attention, and they were because they were being court-martialed for adultery and other sexual improprieties. This little
the president should not be court-martialed for sex in any way, shape, or form.
The fact is, though, that they were.
But it's wrong.
Well,
and most Americans.
And if this is the alleged is true, then I think that he deserves what he gets.
But what will that be?
You pay.
What will he get, though?
I think that
he will not be going to prison. He will not be impeached. So what will he get?
Well,
and what have we gotten out of all of this?
I think that we've really got a decline in morals here.
How? Yeah, how are we declining? Are we declining from the days when John F. Kennedy was banging Judith Exner? Are we declining from the days when Dwight Eisenhower had a mistress while he was at the war? Are we declining from the days when Franklin Delano Roosevelt had a mistress? Where exactly is this decline?
I wasn't around, or I didn't...
No, you talk about a decline. A decline from what?
This man has morals that he should be...
A decline from what? You're avoiding me because you don't have an answer. A decline from what?
An example. Setting an example.
No. And you're telling me that John F. Kennedy set an example by having sex with these women he was not married to? Dwight Eisenhower set an example by having an affair during the war?
My taxes didn't pay for John F. Kennedy, but they are paying for Clinton.
How so?
My taxes are not paying.
Where was John F. Kennedy's salary coming from? Oh, very nice. I think I've had enough. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Unbelievable. Coming up, by the way, we're going to be joined by James Whale, who hosts Europe's #1 talk radio program. We're going to get some of their perspective. We'll hook up with them on a transcontinental hookup. Let's say hi here to Elise on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello. Elise.
Hello, Tom.
Hi, Elise.
I've never called before. A little nervous.
That's okay.
Okay, cool. I think there's a decline in discretion. I think that Bill Clinton chose poor judgment in the woman he chose.
All right, so he should have done a better job screwing around. He should have screwed someone around. Should have screwed somebody who wouldn't talk about it.
Absolutely.
And then you'd be happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, not happy. I mean, I think that I feel terrible for the Clintons, the entire family. He never should be asked these questions. I would never answer any personal questions, period. I felt the same way back when they asked him if he smoked pot.
Absolutely.
What's he going to say? What's he going to say?
Of course, what's he going to say? You're absolutely right, Elise. Thank you for the call. We are joined now by James Whale. James hosts the top radio program. Well, are we breaking now? What are we doing here, guys? We're breaking now. All right, we take the break now. We'll come back with James Whale at Talk Radio UK. 20 minutes before the hour. My name is Tom Leykis.
This is the Tom Leykis Show. 16 minutes before the hour, the Tom Leykis Show from Los Angeles. Also being seen on C-SPAN across America at 1-800-5800-TOM. Here is Peggy, first-time caller to the Tom Leykis Show. Hello. Are we going to Talk Radio UK now? All right, we'll go to Talk Radio UK. And James Whale. The time on this kept changing, so I didn't know when we were going to you, James.
No, I was waiting here. Tom, very nice to speak to you. How are you?
Nice to speak with you. I'm doing just fine.
Good. Now, in LA, the time is, what is it, about afternoon, I suppose,
there? 4:45 in the afternoon. It's the middle of the afternoon rush hour here.
Okay, everybody's driving home, trying to get out of the smog, I guess, at the moment.
Exactly.
Now, listen, there's not a lot of interest, I have to tell you, at the moment. People's tending to think about Clinton, I think, and we'll see. We've got calls coming in now, and we'll take them on air for you to have a little listen to in a minute. But it seems that, of course, people are not that bothered. I mean, if he managed to get a bit of extra whatever, then good luck to him if he can still run the most powerful country in the world.
My perception of Europe, from what I know, is that, frankly, I would imagine you guys would be confused by why we're making such a big deal about this.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's the president. Why does he have to even bother to go along and talk to these people? I mean, don't they just disappear if you're the president of the United States?
One would think. But, no, obviously no. I mean, we have a situation here. I mean, it's just amazing. The president, in about 2 hours and 15 minutes, is going to go on television, and we don't know what he's going to say, but what has leaked out is that he apparently intends to apologize, do some sort of a mea culpa to the nation. They've put it on at 10 o'clock Eastern time, so they've gotten it as late in prime time as they could, so all the kiddies would go to bed, I guess.
Yeah.
And who knows what he's going to admit to, I don't know. But the salacious details continue to leak out here.
Why is it the Democrats are so much hated in America? I mean, is it because you got this sort of Bible Belt and moralistic bashing people that just won't tolerate anything, and that's what you got to do?
I don't think that's an accurate perception. I mean, the president is a Democrat. He was reelected. He has a 65% approval rating, even now, with all of this stuff that's gone on. We had a Democratic House and Senate for the better part of 40 years. I don't think Democrats are that hated. I think that what you have here is that Republicans hate Democrats, and you have a number of people who would like to take this president down, and this is the way they've chosen to do it. I mean, how you got a president in a position to answer questions under oath about his sex life, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, this is what we find difficult to understand. We think, you know, it seems to be self-inflicted, this. Is it because you are a great moralistic nation? I don't think so, particularly. Why is it, then, that everybody has... I mean, the president surely didn't even have to reply to this. He could have said, stuff you, and just carried on with his term. It's the last term he can have, as I understand it.
Yes, that's right. So, I mean, well, he could have done that, but what would have happened is then we would have a series of subpoenas and then challenging the subpoenas and then Supreme Court challenges, and the president would be spending all of his time fighting this dopey investigation, which is really a preposterous investigation, I think, and frankly, don't get the wrong impression. I think most Americans feel this whole thing has been a waste of time and money.
Would you like to hear a couple of our calls?
Absolutely, yes.
All right, okay, let's go to London, and William first, you're on Talk Radio, and of course you're on in LA with Tom Leykis.
Well, hello James, hello Tom, hello LA, and hello UK.
Hello there.
I'd just like to ask, are Americans more concerned that Bill Clinton may have had an affair, or that he may have been lying about having an affair? What is your view?
Well, my opinion is that the American people just want this whole thing to go away. Certainly, if the president broke the law by suborning perjury or obstruction of justice, I think people will start getting a lot more interested. I think the affair part of it, I think America has shown a lot of maturity over the years. I imagine all these years of watching these tabloid talk shows on TV and what have you have numbed us or desensitized us. I'm amazed to see how high the president's popularity rating is now.
So, but I mean, they're really, the people, I mean, Starr, who's stirring this up as far as we can see over here, does he have some kind of axe to grind?
Well,
is he a political animal of some sort?
Well, we'd all really like to know more. We certainly know he's a conservative. We certainly know he's a Republican. We certainly, one listener faxed into us today that he has been a lobbyist for tobacco companies. I don't even know if that's true. But the point is that, let's face facts, this started as the Whitewater investigation, a $40 million investigation of a land deal. No dirt was found, and then he just kept going, investigating other stuff. And he wormed his way finally around to the president's sex life. And, of course, we all know Bill Clinton has had trouble keeping it in his pants. We've all known that over the years. We knew about Jennifer Flowers when we elected him the first time. We knew about the Paula Jones case when we re-elected him. We've known it. You know, the fact is the economy in America is great. Unemployment is low. Inflation is low. Consumer confidence is high. Crime is down. We don't want to hear about any of this stuff. Just keep doing what you're doing is our attitude.
Okay, let's go to a place you'll be familiar with, at least in name only, but the original Plymouth. And Maria, you're on Talk Radio. Hello.
Well,
and on in LA, of course.
What sort of girl Minica Lewinsky is to go on TV and talk about her affair with President Clinton like she does.
I'd like to know what sort of girl she is to keep a dress that's not been washed for a number of years.
Oh, boy, you got to wonder about that. That was heading for the Smithsonian, I think, if it didn't head to Kenneth Starr.
Well, what sort of girl is she then, Tom? I mean, we've seen she's a bit overweight, isn't she? If you want to be overcritical. She's not the most glamorous woman in the world.
Not at all.
She obviously did this on purpose. Why are people actually allowing her to harm your institution of government this way?
Well, it didn't start out as her intending to do that. It started off as a bunch of girl talk. It started off as Minica Lewinsky talking to a woman she thought was her friend, Linda Tripp, on the telephone about her failed relationship with Bill Clinton. What she didn't know is that Linda Tripp was taping it all, and eventually that tape would find its way to Kenneth Starr.
But she did keep the dress without cleaning it.
Yes, she did.
Now, one wonders why.
One does wonder why, and who knows? She probably intended to make a few bucks with it, Frank.
Linda Tripp, tell me about Linda Tripp, because Linda Tripp appeared, we saw her on television over here in this country, with mascara running down her face, telling everybody she's just an ordinary American woman, a mother like you, and this is blatantly not true, of course.
Looks like a transvestite.
Well, I was wondering whether she'd had one of those operations or not.
I don't know, but no, I don't think so. But she's certainly, she's really upset that the comedians have been making fun of her appearance, if you can imagine that.
Well, if you're going to go in public looking like that, well, anyway, never mind. John in Warrington, you're on Talk Radio and on the Tom Leykis Show in L.A.
Hi there. First of all, I'd like to say what Bill Clinton does in his private life is entirely up to Bill Clinton. As long as he runs the country in the professional manner that he should. I mean, what happened between him and Minica Lewinsky is between Bill, Monica, and his wife.
But if Tony Blair, God bless him, had got anything like this going, would we not be interested? Would we not insist on knowing?
Well, we're always interested in other people's downfalls, aren't we?
Of course.
Right. Now, there's a thing in the paper today, yesterday about his father-in-law being an unemployment cheat. Well, that's his father-in-law's private life, not ours.
Yeah. I mean, the fact is, Tom, we are interested in well-known people, aren't we, and what they get up to and what they do.
We are interested, but are we interested to the point where we want to destabilize the government? I don't think so.
Now, this is interesting. Will it actually destabilize your country or not? I mean, maybe it'll do, it seems in the ratings anyway, to be doing Clinton some good.
But there is the possibility that Kenneth Starr will provide information to the Judiciary Committee that would result in impeachment hearings. If we got to the point of impeachment hearings...
Tell us what... We hear this word impeachment bandied around. It's not a word that's in common usage in this country. What does it actually mean?
Well, impeachment doesn't mean what people think it means. Most people think impeachment means to expel someone from office. That's not what it is. Impeachment is a trial to decide whether or not someone should be removed from office. You have to draw up articles of impeachment. You have to have specific allegations against an elected official. We have had...
How long does that go on for?
Well, that's just it. It'll probably go on until Bill Clinton is no longer the president anyway at this point.
So it's a pointless task, and Mr. Starr is actually wasting an enormous amount of public money.
Absolutely. Well, the closest we ever came in this country in my lifetime to impeachment was Richard Nixon back in the early 70s when he finally ended up resigning because articles of impeachment were being drawn. But now we have a situation here where, come on, I mean, Richard Nixon, they were eavesdropping on the Democratic Party. They were destroying evidence. There was all kinds of lying and deceit, and the White House plumbers and G. Gordon Liddy and all this stuff going on back then. We're talking about whether a guy got a Hummer. I mean, this is not the same thing. There's no connection. There are people on TV here trying to compare this to Watergate. It has nothing to do with Watergate.
Do you want one more call?
One more.
Okay, Brian, who's on Merseyside, home of the Beatles for our American listeners at the moment. Brian, you're on Talk Radio and on the Tom Leykis Show in L.A.
Hello, James. Hello, Tom.
Hello.
I just want to make the point that most people in Britain are disinterested in American affairs, presidential and government. We've got our own news stories, and I feel there's too many Americans who believe that we don't have our own news, and we're so interested in what's going on over there. And okay, a majority of people do have a fleeting curiosity in what's going on, but that's all it is. It's not as though we base all our news stories, and that's the top of the agenda on News at 10 or on the news on the radio. And I think it's got to the point now where even with this show highlights that point, that they want people from Britain to phone up and make comments on what's going on in America, which is, to I would say, a majority of people disinteresting to us.
Of course, you have to understand, Tom, at the moment with the atrocities that have just happened in Northern Ireland, our news is full of that.
Absolutely. And frankly, our news is full of that, and I'm amazed that we spend so much time on this Bill Clinton, Minica Lewinsky issue. James, we have to run. It's always great to have you on with us, and we hope to talk to you again soon.
Tom, nice talking to you. Bye-bye.
James Whale of Talk Radio. He has the highest-rated talk radio program in all of Europe. We'll wrap up C-SPAN and continue with your calls coming up.
Coast to Coast, the Tom Leykis Show. We'll continue our conversation at 1-800-5800-TOM. Our thanks to C-SPAN for having us on. You can tune us in on the radio if you want to hear the rest of the program. We're here from 3 to 7 Pacific Time, Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Go to our website. It's blowmeuptom.com. You're listening to the Tom Leykis Show.